For 600 years, one powerful empire controlled every single ship that sailed between the vast lands of China and India, asserting unwavering authority over maritime routes. Every bolt of silk, every sack of spices, and every merchant vessel crossing the Indian Ocean passed through their waters, taxed with precision. This was not an empire built primarily on land, but instead projected formidable naval power across 3,000 miles of vast open ocean. Dominating the richest trade route on Earth with remarkable efficiency, most of us have nevertheless never heard its mysterious name, Srivijaya. To understand how Srivijaya vanished so completely, we must journey back to the 7th century when it was one of Asia's most powerful states. The powerful empire initially rose on the island of Sumatra, strategically positioned at the very edge of the vital Strait of Malacca. Geography made Srivijaya's rise almost inevitable, as two narrow passages lay between the vast empires of China and India. The Strait of Malacca lay to the north, and the Sunda Strait to the south. Every ship heading west faced a crucial choice of routes. Srivijaya controlled both crucial straits with absolute dominance, commanding the entire southeastern coast of Sumatra from their capital near Palembang. To the north, they dominated the Malay Peninsula. To the east, western Borneo, with even parts of Java eventually falling under their profound influence. This wasn't conquest through massive armies or formidable stone fortresses. Srivijaya built something fundamentally different, a thalassocracy, an empire of the sea. They ruled through naval superiority, strategic trade monopolies, and a sophisticated network of tributary ports stretching across Southeast Asia with remarkable coordination. The immense wealth flowing through these vital straits was truly staggering beyond imagination, bringing Chinese silk and porcelain traveling westward. Indian textiles and precious stones moved east, along with spices from the Maluku Islands, sandalwood from Timor, and camphor from Borneo, all efficiently funneled. Srivijaya was far more than just a toll booth on the lucrative spice route, evolving into a major center of profound Buddhist learning. Attracting scholars and monks from across all of Asia with its impressive libraries, Srivijaya's esteemed reputation reached all the way to China. In the year 671, the Chinese Buddhist monk Yijing, a 35-year-old male, set sail for India on his profound spiritual quest. His ultimate goal was to study at Nalanda, the greatest Buddhist university in the entire world, but he first stopped at Srivijaya. What the monk Yijing found here truly astonished him beyond all his expectations, as the Srivijayan capital housed over 1,000 scholars. These Buddhist scholars studied Sanskrit texts and Mahayana doctrine with great dedication, so Yijing stayed for 6 months, immersing himself completely. When Yijing returned from Nalanda years later, he stopped at Srivijaya again with renewed appreciation for its scholarly atmosphere. This time he stayed for 4 full years, translating crucial Buddhist texts from Sanskrit into Chinese with meticulous care and dedication. Think about what that truly means for a moment. Asia's most renowned university was Nalanda, a beacon of learning. However, the journey there was so demanding that monks needed to prepare elsewhere, and the best place, according to Yijing, was Srivijaya. The Srivijayan Empire became an extraordinary crossroads of culture and religion on an unprecedented scale, welcoming Buddhist pilgrims from China. Indian scholars traveled to teach eager students, and the Srivijayan royal court sponsored the construction of monasteries and the copying of sacred texts. For centuries, this successful pattern continued without interruption, as Srivijaya maintained its firm grip on the straits, taxing trade efficiently. Kings in China recognized Srivijayan rulers as important diplomatic partners, and inscriptions from India mention them as major patrons of Buddhism. But here, the story takes a strange that puzzles historians even today, despite its immense wealth and influence. Despite 600 years of dominance, Srivijaya left almost nothing behind, no great stone temples or massive fortifications. This wasn't an oversight or a failure of ambition. It was simply the very nature of the Srivijayan Empire itself. Their cities were constructed primarily of wood and bamboo. Their wealth flowed through ports and warehouses, all designed for maritime trade. Wood decays rapidly in a humid tropical climate. Rivers flood and shift their banks, and relentless humidity consumes everything. While inland empires built stone monuments, Srivijaya's wooden cities slowly disappeared into the jungle and river mud, leaving almost no trace. By the 13th century, Srivijaya was undeniably fading as formidable new rivals emerged, challenging their once absolute control of the straits. The Majapahit Empire in Java grew stronger. Trade routes shifted to bypass Srivijayan influence, and their sources of wealth began to dry up. something extraordinary happened that defies normal historical patterns. The empire didn't just fall, it vanished completely. Within a few generations, it was as if Srivijaya had never existed, the cities abandoned and swallowed by the relentless jungle. Jump forward to early 20th century modern Indonesia. In Palembang, the city built upon the ruins of Srivijaya's ancient capital. Ask a local about the great Buddhist kingdom that once ruled from their riverbanks, and you would receive only blank stares and confusion. The rediscovery of this lost empire came from an unexpected source, a dusty archive in 1918, a true historical revelation. A 55-year-old French historian, scholarly, bespectacled George Coed's worked through ancient Chinese manuscripts, uncovering Shili Foshi, the Chinese transliteration of Srivijaya. Coed's diligently cross-referenced Chinese accounts with Sanskrit inscriptions, which he found scattered across Indonesia and the Malay Peninsula. Slowly and incredibly, an entire lost empire emerged from the historical record, a civilization completely forgotten, now visible again. The recovered evidence was fragmentary yet compelling to trained scholars, as stone inscriptions in Old Malay and Sanskrit revealed royal decrees. Chinese diplomatic records and trade agreements filled in crucial gaps, while archaeological finds in the Musi River yielded gold ornaments and Buddhist statues. Even with this incredible rediscovery, Srivijaya remains elusive and mysterious to modern researchers, a profound historical enigma. Though it was powerful and shaped the medieval world, the physical empire, its cities, ships, and monuments are almost entirely dissolved. This profound erasure was not accidental. It was architectural, as Srivijaya was built entirely from the perishable materials of the tropics. While European kingdoms raised stone cathedrals and Chinese emperors commissioned marble palaces, Srivijaya's lords constructed their power from living trees and flowing water. Their cities literally floated. Entire settlements rose and fell with the tides along the Musi River, clustered around royal compounds. When monsoons shifted trade routes or political winds changed dramatically, the capital could simply relocate, leaving almost nothing behind them. In the humid heat of equatorial Sumatra, wood decays within mere decades, not centuries, as organic materials rapidly dissolve into soil. The jungle reclaims clearings with astonishing speed. Within a single human lifetime, a thriving port could vanish beneath vines and silt. A deeper irony exists. Srivijaya's very success contained the insidious seeds of its ultimate forgetting by future generations. The empire invested in ships, diplomats, and scholars, not grand monuments designed to proclaim eternal glory to unknown future generations. By the 13th century, new powers were rapidly rising. The Mongol invasions disrupted crucial Chinese trade patterns significantly. The Japanese Majapahit Empire challenged Srivijaya's naval dominance, and their entire maritime network began to fracture and eventually collapse. When Srivijaya fell, it truly fell completely, leaving no grand ruins for travelers to wonder at or admire. No architectural legacy remained to remind descendants of past glory. The empire simply faded from collective memory, becoming nothing at all. By the early 20th century, residents of Palembang, the very site of Srivijaya's capital, had no knowledge of the lost empire. When the French scholar George Coed's published his reconstruction in 1918, it was as if he had conjured a ghost from the mist. Think about that, an empire controlling the richest maritime trade route, educating thousands of Buddhist monks, and sending diplomatic missions to China and India. This incredible empire, which shaped the religious and political landscape of Southeast Asia for centuries, was completely forgotten by people living on its ruins. This reveals the great tragedy and profound lesson of Srivijaya. Power is impermanent, and legacy is never truly guaranteed. Even the mightiest civilizations can vanish if they fail to leave behind something resisting the erosion of time, something that truly speaks. Today, archaeologists continue their painstaking work in the murky waters of the Musi River, recovering pottery fragments and scattered statues. These glimpses of ancient trade networks, once spanning continents, are whispers from the past, reminding us that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. A haunting and unanswerable question remains: if an empire so vast, powerful, and central to global trade could disappear so completely, what else have we lost? And what other civilizations rose and fell, leaving absolutely no trace we have yet discovered? Srivijaya reminds us that history is not a complete record, but rather a collection of fragile fragments and accidental preservation. The empire of wood and water is now gone, but its profound lesson echoes across centuries. Even vanished kingdoms still teach us something.